It doesn't need a lot of energy, and this makes me happy. But not really just because, well, you can see, those are the solar cell, and those are the shadow of the solar cell on the wall. And when you move around the building, it's like moving under the leaves of a forest. And here is where I think sustainability and ecology may become very important. I believe that today, architecture speaking, we need to explore new language. And I believe that new language should be much more related to the fact that buildings should breathe. They should actually work with nature. They should not work against nature. What I'm saying is not moralistic. It's not moralistic. It's not about, well, by the way, it's a good thing to save energy, that's for sure. But I'm saying that if I look for an inspiring element of the new century, this is the one. The earth is fragile, and we have to be careful about that. So this is what I call inspiring. Well, the 19th century, you know very well, the inspiring thing was the discovery of lightweight construction with steel. I mean, every century has got some good reason, not academical, not style, not tendency, but something solid to grapple. And I think this is the solid point. I think we, as architects, we should really address ourselves to this exploration. What is the language of modernity, not in terms of new tendency, new fashion, but in terms of language? And this is another picture showing through the roof. It's funny because the building lives, the building breathes, the building moves, actually. This is inside, this is the rainforest. It's a bubble of glass inside. But the building is transparent. You know, that's the other thing. Transparency, I come back to this. Because normally, Science Museum, well, this is, by the way, this is the view of the planetarium, that is the most modern planetarium. This is showing, by the way, part of the existing building that we kept. That's another thing. They ask us, what do you want to keep? Well, we try to keep everything we can keep, because we believe ourselves, Europeans, about the value of layers. For us, cities are being made by layers, one above the other. You don't make tabula rasa if you can. So we kept part of the existing building. This is, by example, you can recognize, this is a piece of the old planetarium. But transparency is the magic thing. Science museums are normally kingdom of darkness. They are quite dark, and it's like going to the cinema, you know, you see. But this idea of being in the middle of the Golden Gate Park, that is the most beautiful park you can believe, well, the idea that being in the middle of nature, you see nature, and you see through. And in this building, again, you see where you are. You see exactly where you are. This is the picture taken the day of the opening. That was September, a few months ago. It was a nice day, beautiful, sunny day. I was pleased because an Indian man came. He was the grandson of the owner of the land. And he said, I give you this piece of land. Of course, the land already was owned by the city of San Francisco. But mentally speaking, culturally speaking, he came, he made a little smoke, he made, and said, finally, I give you this piece of land because you deserve it, because you made something that works well with nature. And this is probably the only piece of native California around for miles, because it's done without irrigation. And that was nice. And then children free up 30,000 butterflies, and it was beautiful. But I'm talking about this because I want to stress one point. Doesn't matter what you do, but the relationship between the building and the space is essential. The building and the city. Its building may be also magnificent, but they become something separated from the city. So here, this building is now working since 3 months, not much. but it's a building that is already loved and used, and people go inside there. Of course, it's immense. It's a very big building. But it's actually a building where school children and young and old children from 6 to 90 years old, they go there. And it's something everybody loves. I would like to say something, if I can have it for a second, the light on, because I don't want to keep going forever. You will be annoyed soon. I wanted to show those things for a very simple reason, that architecture comes from somewhere. And I wanted to show a story that is not easy. You may be even wondering, why ever those buildings are so different one from the other? Why ever? I tell you, because architecture is adventure. Because actually, I'm worried myself in my office, in our office. We are worried when you feel that you can end by repeating yourself. Academia is the art of repeating yourself. And especially when you reach a certain age and a certain degree of success, well, you tend to become self-referential. You know, you start to be a copy of yourself. You start to follow a style. I think style is terrible, the concept of style. I think the idea of coherence is great, but coherence is diverse. Coherence is different, because every time you do something completely different. Put yourself in the position today. We are talking about the new building in Athens. It's a completely different story. It's a different place, different people, different audience, everything is different. How can you repeat? The only thing you can do, honestly, is to look inside yourself and on the side and to reinvent. That's why, for me, architecture is a bit like being Robinson Crusoe. And every time you start from the scratch. Not quite, but this is creating anxiety, of course, because it's not easy, because every time you have a struggle, but you have to accept that. Now, if I go on for another second, don't worry, not too much. This is me coming for the first visit to Athens. No, I'm joking. I didn't come by boat, but I wish I can come by boat. Exactly, that's my, I'm making this joke, but it's not quite a joke, because for me, I said before, water is the connecting ground for good part of the world. And I love sailing, and one of the reasons I wanted this job is because I thought that I can come. Of course, it's much easier to come by airplane, but anyway, coming to Athens. Well, this is Athens. You don't have to know. This is where we are. This is Faliro. This is Sigru. The Acropolis. This is where we are. And you know, and this is Kalitea. Kalitea, Bella Vista, the beautiful view. I immediately wanted to see the view. I was looking for the view. So I spent, now I have to say one thing immediately. I love that place. I start to know Kalitea. I've been walking around. I start to know exactly every street around the site. Because again, that's what you have to do. You have to go and you have to listen to the places. As an architect, you should not listen too much or only to people. But you have to listen to places as well. You have to watch, you have to grab the places. And I think Kalitea deserves a view to the sea. It's the name. And deserve water, because of course the water was much deeper there. Well, you know better than me. The first harbor of Athens was there. It was Faliro.